This is the video all of you have been asking and waiting for, my top 10 films of all time. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In tonight's video, I'm finally revealing my top 10 favorite films of all time. This video has been much requested by my subscribers during our live chats on Sunday nights, so I had to sit down, take a pen and a piece of paper, and really think about it. I tried to incorporate as many different genres as I could, and I think it's a pretty good list, if I do say so myself. They are all different, except for the one commonality is that they've all been nominated for Oscars or have won. So I think that's pretty damn good. If you are new here at the channel and you love movie content, Blu-ray trips, award season, and so much more in the entertainment field, you're going to want to hit the red subscribe down below so you do not miss anything. And keep in mind, this is my own personal top 10 list. I am sure it's going to be different from yours. Let me know down below. What are your favorite top 10 favorite movies of all time? I would love to know. Maybe we have some things in common on the list. Let's find out. Let's start with number 10. Number 10 on my list is Monster. And I know that this is not a go-to favorite movie. However, it does have Charlize Theron giving my favorite autobiographical performance of all time. This is obviously what she won her Oscar for, playing the first female serial killer, Eileen Wuornos. Now, before Charlize Theron was in this movie, she was in Hollywood. She was steady acting, but she hadn't made her mark yet. Once she was in this film and gave the performance of her career, that's when everything changed. Once she won her Oscar, she was Hollywood's golden girl. Everyone wanted her to be in their movies. And this performance is beyond incredible. With her gaining weight, I think she gained about 50 pounds to portray this woman. And her skin and her hair, she really had to just let all the makeup go, all the glam, let it go. She even put in, I think, brown contacts to look exactly like her, and she did. It's a wonderful performance. If you've never seen Monster, I highly recommend you to do so. Number 9 is Death Becomes Her. Who does not love Death Becomes Her? I'm sorry. It is one of my favorites. Now, if you haven't seen it, it's about these women that fear getting older. And so they take a potion to kind of turn back time a little bit. But one of the drawbacks is if you hurt yourself or you injure yourself, it's not really that easy to put yourself back together. This movie was kind of ahead of its time with special effects. It came out in 1993, I believe. And it did win the special effects Oscar for that year. And directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Meryl Streep, Bruce Willis, and Goldie Hawn, you could only imagine the comedy and the fun that came out of that trio. One of the reasons I really love this movie is that Meryl Streep and Bruce Willis are in a comedy, and they're just having fun, and it's like a breath of fresh air to see them do a comedy and not a drama. It's not Sophie's Choice. It's Death Becomes Her. It's one of my favorite comedies. Number 8 is Steel Magnolias. If you do not cry during this movie, then you must be a robot. This is one of the first movies that I even remember because this came out in 88, 89, I believe, somewhere in there, with a very young Julia Roberts. Wonderful all-star, all-female main cast. This was one of the first movies with an all-female cast that really made an impact, and it showed you really don't need male characters to have a wonderful female-led movie. You have Sally Field, Daryl Hannah, Dolly Parton, Olympia Dukakis, and Shirley MacLaine, with Julia Roberts, all giving performances of a lifetime. This is one of those movies where you're crying one minute and then it goes into laughter, and it gives you every emotion possible, and it takes you on a roller coaster. Number 7 is Moonstruck. It's Cher, it's Moonstruck, it's Italians, it's everything. One of the reasons I love this movie, I think everyone knows I have an Italian family, come from Italian background, and this movie depicts Italians so dead on accurate. It's absolutely amazing. Cher won her Oscar for the leading role in this film. Olympia Dukakis was nominated. Nicolas Cage is also in this, a very young Nicolas Cage. And you could see the chemistry between him and Cher. I just love this movie. I don't know why I love it so much. I just do. It has so many situations that are relatable, and I just love it. There really is no other explanation. I just love it. I love Cher. I thought she was perfect casting in this movie. Number 6, speaking of Italians, we're still going with Italians, is My Cousin Vinny. This is one of those comedies, whenever it's on TV, I'm watching it. I'm stopping it and I'm watching it, mainly because of Marissa's Oscar-winning performance. Marissa Tomei won her Best Supporting Actress Oscar. Everyone thought it was a joke that she won for a comedy. No, she really won. And you know what? She deserved it. Because she kind of stole the spotlight sometimes, especially in the very last scene when she's on the stand and she's doing her whole spiel about the car. How can you not give her the Oscar for that? And then Joe Pesci, obviously I adore and love him. And to see him actually separate from doing drama and going into a comedy, it's refreshing. They had perfect chemistry together. Absolutely love and adore it. Now we're getting into the top 5. We're getting serious. Number 5 is The Dark Knight. Now, you know I had to put some comic book movies on here. Obviously, a Marvel is going to be on the list. Just you wait. But I did put a DC film because, in my opinion, the Christopher Nolan trilogy of the Dark Knight series is the best representation from the DCEU. And out of those 3 movies, the number 1 for me is The Dark Knight, mainly because of Heath Ledger's Oscar-winning performance. Completely amazing. This movie is what the DCEU, with every film, should strive to be. To me, the Christopher Nolan films for the Batman trilogy it's unbelievable. Watching that trilogy versus the movies that we have coming out today, it's like night and day difference. In my opinion, Christopher Nolan should be like the Kevin Feige of the DC world and just oversee everything, but they're not doing that. They don't have one person coordinating everything who's a really, really psycho fan like Kevin Feige. So that's why the DCEU is all over the map, in my opinion. But with what Christopher Nolan did with the Dark Knight trilogy, it's dark, it's deep, it's serious. We get Bruce Wayne's origin story, really thorough origin story, which I love and appreciate. And that continues on into The Dark Knight. So I had to put that in there in the number 5. Number 4 is Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids, my ultimate go-to comedy, as well as My Cousin Vinny. Whenever that movie is on, I watch it. I laugh every single time. It never gets boring to me. It introduced us to Melissa McCarthy, along with the other ladies that we knew. But Melissa McCarthy was the real breakout star of Bridesmaids. And also, this film, it was nominated for Oscars. And that's very rare for the Academy to nominate comedy and comedic performances. Melissa McCarthy got nominated, and then Kristen Wiig also got nominated for Best Original Screenplay. And so, in my opinion, how do you top that? How do you top that? Well, I got 3 more that can top that. Number 3 is Jaws. Dun-na, dun-na. That's right. With 2 notes. you're afraid. That's the brilliancy of Jaws. This is my go-to movie every single summer, especially on 4th of July. Always have to watch it multiple times on repeat. I don't know what it is. It's just a staple in my opinion. I think the brilliancy of Steven Spielberg doing this film is that he took a situation that everyone is afraid of. Who isn't afraid of being eaten in the ocean by a great white shark? I think everyone, pretty much. So he took that vulnerability that we all have and just put it to the forefront, right in front of us. But also the brilliancy of Steven Spielberg is that he never showed us the shark until almost the very end. The shark was represented by the music, which I think was absolutely brilliant and amazing. And then also what I love about this film is that the action is constantly going. With 8-10 minutes left of the film, you're still getting full on action. Where other movies are wrapping up the storyline, we're just seeing the shark for the very first time, like in full view. And so that's pretty amazing. Jaws has to be on the top 10. Number 2 slot, I kind of cheated, okay? I kind of cheated. It's 2 movies in one, but I couldn't decide. And in my opinion, these are bookends of each other and they have to go together. It's Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. That's right. Marvel is not my number 1 of all time. Can you guess what it is? Do you think you know what my number 1 movie is of all time? Comment down below. But in the meantime, let's talk about number 2. Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. This is the end cap of 10 years of movies intertwining all of these characters that we love and adore. Infinity War gave us the tragic ending of half of our people getting dusted away and us leaving incomplete about what's going to happen because the Avengers lost. Avengers don't lose. And we were devastated. And we had to wait an entire year for Endgame. And was it worth the wait? It was absolutely incredible. Everyone knows how much I love these movies, especially Avengers Endgame. Plus it overtaking Avatar as the top movie of all time. You gotta give it its due. But it's not my number 1. Did you guess my number 1 movie of all time? It has an iconic director, an amazing cast, Italians, and a little bit of mob. That's right. It's Goodfellas. Goodfellas is my all-time favorite movie. Martin Scorsese was absolutely brilliant with taking this true story with Ray Liotta's performance, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Lorraine Bracco. I have seen this movie so many times. Besides the fact of the whole mob lifestyle, what I really liked and appreciated about Goodfellas was them depicting the Italian lifestyle. And you know I've said this before with previous movies that I've mentioned, with Moonstruck and My Cousin Vinny. I have an attachment to the Italian, the heritage, everything. And I feel like Martin Scorsese really incorporated that into the movie, especially with the scene when Robert De Niro and Ray Liotta go to Joe Pesci's mom's house, or that's where he lives. And the next thing you know, they're all sitting down and having dinner together. That's Italian. That's real. That's how it happens. And I can just appreciate that fully. But these performances were absolutely phenomenal. And this is what Joe Pesci won his Oscar for. That is my top 10 favorite movies of all time. What do you think? Pretty good? Any that we have in common? Let me know down below. Let me know what are your top 10 movies of all time. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.